Morning, everyone. I'm Neil Dundas, from the ZA Registry Consortium. We are the registry operator for the ZA second-level commercial domains in South Africa. And I want to walk you through our journey of how we transformed our registry data from fragmented raw logs and inconsistent reporting into a single verified data warehouse, treating data as a strategic asset for our registry. Just a quick note before we begin, the presentation won't focus on specific dashboards or reports. While those visual outputs are important, and we've developed quite a few, the emphasis here is the behind-the-scenes journey and the architectural decisions, challenges, and processes we went through to make the data usable, trustworthy, and actionable. If you're interested in seeing some of those dashboards and reports, I encourage you to visit our public statistics website. You can get that at stats.registry.net.za. There you can explore examples of the metrics and the trends we publish in our quarterly reports, and they can provide you with some insights into the namespace activity. Please note that these public reports are designed for high-level public consumption, and the versions we provide to our regulator obviously contain more detailed analysis, particularly around registrar performance, ranking, and trends. We've also produced a technical companion paper to this presentation. Actually, it's a bit of a work in progress, and that provides more detail on the data architecture and includes a few sample dashboards that you can look at. If you're interested in this paper, there are contact details at the end of the presentation, where you can request access, and we will be glad to share that with you. I do also want to state up front that although I've been deeply involved in this journey from a registry perspective, I'm certainly not a data scientist or an engineer. I've relied heavily on our analytics partner Taito Insights, and our internal registry teams to deliver on the technical vision. So the aim of this session is to share some of the high-level technical and operational insights from our experience, and hopefully offer some practical takeaways to any other TLD registry grappling with fragmented data and inconsistent reporting. Next slide, please. So, yeah. Good. Okay, at its core, registry operations are built on trust and accountability, and the data sits at the heart of both of those instances. Without trusted data, our ability to make informed decisions, respond to issues, or maintain integrity in the namespace is fundamentally compromised. In our context, data supports 5 critical pillars of the registry. First, regulatory compliance, enabling us to meet our reporting and oversight obligations, particularly with our regulator. Secondly, security and resilience, especially in detecting and responding effectively to DNS abuse. Third is transparency. In this, we maintain openness and credibility with registrars and other stakeholders who rely on consistent and reliable reporting from us. Fourth is operational intelligence, using data internally to guide decision-making and manage performance and plan ahead. And then lastly, which I think is the most important one from my perspective, is innovation, because reliable data unlocks new services, ideas, and opportunities for growth. But a few years ago, our data was everywhere. It was siloed, inconsistent, heavily fragmented, and ultimately not actionable. We knew that before we could innovate, we first had to consolidate. We had to build trust in the data itself. Next slide. There we go. So when we started, our biggest challenge wasn't the volume of data, it was fragmentation. As many other registries may relate, we had legacy systems, ad hoc processes, duplicate data sources, and no single version of the truth. There was a recognition that although the data existed, it wasn't usable or in a consistent or trustworthy way. Each system or team had its own view, and reports were generated differently, sometimes even with different definitions. That inconsistency eroded confidence, not just internally, but also with our registrars, our other stakeholders, and regulators. We realized that to get true value from the data, whether for compliance, decision-making, or innovation, we needed to first unify it. That meant establishing a single, reliable source of truth that everyone could trust and work from. Next slide. Our first real breakthrough came through a small but meaningful collaboration with the University of Pretoria, which is one of South Africa's leading tertiary institutions. We posed a challenge to a group of final year computer science students for their capstone project, and we posed the question of whether they could design a prototype that brings structure, intelligence, and visibility to our registry data, but it had to be done within our registry environment. What they delivered was a simple but functional business intelligence tool. It included early brand protection features, and it gave us our first real glimpse into the potential of our data and the gaps that we needed to address. More importantly, it validated something fundamental. With the right structure, methodology, and resources, our data could work for us and not the other way around. Next slide. From that early exploratory project, we built a lasting relationship with the capstone team, and that group would ultimately become Taito Insights, who became our long-term analytics partner. Together, we developed a partnership grounded in complementary strengths. ZARC brought the registry context and operational insights, and Taito brought the data science and engineering, and that it led us to evolve intelligence from our data. The collaboration fundamentally changed our mindsets. Analytics stopped being an occasional side project and became an operational capability embedded in the registry itself. That combination of domain expertise and analytical capability working in tandem became the engine for everything else that followed. Next slide. We had multiple drivers for change from our perspective. Each one reflected a different aspect of our responsibility as a ccTLD registry. The initial push came from compliance and reporting. We needed a faster, more automated and auditable way to meet our regulatory requirements, but we very quickly realized that compliance was just the starting point and not the destination. The real objective became decision support, building a trusted data foundation that could inform our day-to-day operations and our long-term strategy. Once we have consistent, reliable, and verified data, it became the backbone of everything else: business intelligence, registrar engagement, DNS abuse monitoring, and forecasting. A proper data warehouse became the bridge between raw transaction logs and actionable insights, transforming isolated data into a shared, reliable asset that everyone in the organization and the broader ecosystem could use with confidence. Next slide, please. Okay. Each step of our data pipeline, from capture, clean, extract, transform, load, and verify, was carefully designed and tested. We began by validating our data at the source using strict change control and integrity checks to ensure we always knew what the truth looked like. During the cleaning stage, we applied what we call the golden rule. Once data is cleaned and verified, those numbers never change. That rule created trust over every system and team that depends on those numbers. The transformation process then added intelligence, things like renewal date computation, registrar movement tracking, and other derived metrics, and this made the data more useful. Finally, everything is loaded into a star schema warehouse, which gives us performance, reliability, and a single version of the truth for the registry. This discipline is what led to everything else and made it possible. Next slide. Once the data warehouse was stable and verified, our next challenge was access and usability, making the data both secure and meaningful to the people who needed it. We built a unified API layer, a single and consistent gateway through which all queries and reports are generated. Whether you're a registrar, a regulator, or part of an internal registry team, everyone draws the same logic from the same source of truth. On top of that, we implemented a role-based access control system so that each group sees only what's relevant to them. Registrars can view and export their own metrics, while the registry team maintains the full operational overview. Taito, our analytics partner, then helped us design a suite of dashboards that prioritize clarity, accuracy, and transparency, what they call ethical visualization. No misleading scales, no selective metrics, just clear contextual data that drives informed decisions. The goal was to make insights instantly visible, shareable, and actionable, without ever compromising the data integrity itself. Together, these layers transformed the warehouse from a technical platform into something usable, trusted, and genuinely empowering for our registry. Next slide. Up to this point, we've seen how the warehouse evolved into a usable, transparent system accessible through APIs and dashboards, but usability alone wasn't enough for us. The platform also needed to operate reliably within the live registry environment without adding risk or strain to our production systems. This is where Taito again played a key role, helping us design and package the entire analytics stack so that it could run securely and efficiently within our own infrastructure. By containerizing and orchestrating every component, they made the system modular, stable, and easy to deploy and update, all while keeping registry data safely within the local environment. That approach allowed us to scale and innovate confidently without ever needing to export data or rely on external cloud services. With that foundation in place, the next step was integrating the platform fully into the registry operational infrastructure, which is what we'll look at next. Next slide. Unlike many other analytics setups that push registry data into the cloud or an external third-party system, our entire platform operates from within the registry ecosystem, preserving data sovereignty and trust. By keeping all analytics inside our own infrastructure, we ensure that the registrant data never leaves the jurisdiction and remains fully compliant with relevant data privacy and processing requirements. The production cluster continues to run the live registry, but we extend that with a journal table. That's where all historical domain life cycles are reconstructed by our journal loader. The MIS server, which hosts the data warehouse loader and the analytics database itself, which is data from the journal, billing, and live schemas are merged into this and are stored in a star schema model for performance and consistency. Updates happen incrementally every 15 minutes, so dashboards and models always reflect near real-time conditions. Keeping everything on premises ensures compliance, data privacy, and full control for the registry. And this is a crucial criteria for any ccTLD. Next slide. Once the foundation was solid, we could begin applying it to real-world cases, turning our data into insights and our insights into action. So how did we do this, or how do we plan to do this? Well, there are a number of practical applications for our new data warehouse. Through visualization and intelligence, we provide registrar dashboards, lifecycle reports, and regulatory summaries, creating transparency and that enables data-driven conversations across all stakeholders. The predictive analytics layer focuses on renewal forecasting, trend detection, and anomaly alerts, helping us anticipate behavior in the namespace rather than just reacting to it. The DNS abuse and compliance framework integrates monitoring and risk profiling directly into our operations, improving response times and strengthening trust in the namespace. BrandWatch gives us an automated tracking and alerting system for brand-related domains, helping rights holders and oversight bodies identify potential issues early and to take the necessary action. And finally, our data access services through APIs for internal teams, registrars, and regulators ensures that everyone interacts with the same verified data set, maintaining a single trusted version of the truth. Together, these applications transform the warehouse from a data repository into a strategic intelligence platform, one that informs decisions, drives transparency, and delivers measurable value across our registry. For those interested in the deeper technical details, including the modeling, algorithms, and architecture, as I've said before, we've published a companion paper that explains each element in more detail. So please contact us on the contact information at the end of the slideshow, and we'll be happy to share that with you. Next slide. Nearly finished. Okay. So here's where we stand today, the result of transforming our registry data into a strategic asset First of all, we now have a centralized trusted data warehouse. Our regulator reports are automated and run in minutes. We are working on enhancing our DNS abuse tracking, and we've implemented registrar transparency dashboards that our channel partners can benchmark their performance and engage in data-driven conversations. But most importantly, we've built confidence in the data itself, and that has changed how we make decisions and how we look to innovation. Next slide. The project began as a compliance requirement, but it evolved into so much more. The structured data warehouse means our reports to the regulator, registrars, and oversight bodies are now consistent and automated and auditable. We can now use data to anticipate trends, to spot growth opportunities, detect risks, and plan with evidence rather than instinct. For us, that is the real value in treating data as a strategic asset. Next slide. I'm nearly done. Of course, none of this happened overnight. We had to wrestle with inconsistent and incomplete legacy data that wasn't fit for modern analytics. And internally, we also faced limited data skills and resources, which meant we had to lean heavily on our partners, and we needed to be honest about what we didn't yet know. One of the hardest parts was shifting mindsets, helping teams understand that data isn't just a byproduct of operations. It's actually a strategic asset that can inform how we manage the registry and engage stakeholders and plan for the future. Next slide. If I had to distill our journey into 4 lessons, that'd be this: start small, pilot, prove and build momentum, build partnerships that combine domain and data expertise, invest in processes and people, not just technology, and finally make data part of your culture. Except that the journey is not, except that it is a journey and not a destination. Next slide. Looking ahead, this is the last slide. As mentioned earlier, the journey started out as a compliance exercise, an effort to streamline our reporting obligations, but it has evolved into something more strategic. By establishing a centralized trusted warehouse, we've moved beyond static reports and started unlocking new possibilities. Deeper insights, proactive forecasting, and meaningful transparency across our stakeholders. Now that the foundation is solid, our next focus is to expand the range and richness of our dashboards and the insights that we provide. We're continuously exploring new data sources, evaluating their value, and converting them into user-friendly visualizations, not just for internal operations, but also for our registrars, our regulators, and the broader ecosystem partners. Okay, with our RSP hat on, we service and support a number of different TLDs, and we've also embedded this analytics capability directly into that service model. Every new deployment that we support, whether in Africa or globally, includes the built-in analytics layer. This ensures that every registry that can benefit from a structured data-driven approach right from the start. Although we operate internationally, we are particularly invested in supporting African ccTLDs on their own data journeys. Whether it's through tools, templates, lessons learned, or just shared services, our goal is to empower registries to build capacity and gain clarity through data. One initiative that we're particularly excited about is our Brand Watch service, which is our upcoming protective brand monitoring and alerting service. It allows registrars and brand owners to monitor keyword matches within the registry data and receive real-time alerts when a domain name might infringe or mimic a known brand. And it's not just there to protect brand owners, it's also there about protecting internet users from phishing, fraud, and confusion. Next slide. Just in summary, this journey was only possible through collaboration. TechDay didn't just provide the technical services for us, they became an embedded partner, helping us to shape a data culture that is sustainable. Together, we've built something that not only benefits ZA, but hopefully contributes to how other TLDs think about data. Last slide. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences with similar data journeys. You can explore some of the public data dashboards on stats.registry.net.za. Again, this is for public consumption, so it is not as detailed as it can be. And you can also contact our analytics partner at TechDay.Africa if you have any questions. I hope the session encourages others to see data not just as a burden, but as one of the most powerful assets in running a registry. Thank you.